good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mihir Joshi. Welcome once again to the show. Literally 30 45 seconds ago, I wrapped up with the absolutely fabulous Bryden and Parth. Go check their music out, subscribe to their channel. But right now, it gives me great pleasure to bring to you an artist that I know, like literally, I can say millions of you absolutely love. I first discovered him because, you remember that song Lamborghini, which had become so famous. I just had the pleasure of chatting with Ragini Tandon, who actually sang the song. And when it came out, it became this, soon after that, it became this humongous hit. And one of the reasons I actually discovered the song was because of my guest today. I'm talking about the absolutely fantastic Melvin Louis, who in my opinion is one of the best dancers that we've got online. And yes, he's a YouTuber, he's on Instagram, he's on TikTok, he's everything. But I think the essence of it, the absolute simple essence of it, is that he's a dancer first, he's an artist, and he's been making some amazing dance videos for all of you on YouTube. If you're a Melvin Louis fan, you can drop a thumbs up or like a heart for him already, because any second now, I just spoke with him on a chat. Any second now we should get him on, and I want to find out a little bit more about his life. So yeah, Melvin should be here any second now, like I said. But let me also tell you who I have lined up for tomorrow while Melvin makes his way over here. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. I have an actress who's somebody whom you guys really like very much, but who's extremely bold and doing some really crazy things on Instagram these days. I have Tina Singh with me, and at 9 p.m. I have a fantastic singer who you guys love as well. I'm talking. So you're going to get to see Tina Singh and Aditi Singh Sharma tomorrow. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the MJ show, the absolutely fantastic Melvin Louis. And there you go. Hey, Melvin, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm good. I can, but it's still cracking. I'm trying to fix that. I don't know if it's my network or yours. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Guys, can you hear me and can you hear Melvin clearly? For everybody who's watching us right now, let us know. Drop a comment so
Yeah,
that we know
please.
that you can hear us clearly. I think I can hear you clearly right now. Is my voice okay?
Yeah, it's cracking a little, but very minimal it is. I
You
think
know what I would
I think
recommend?
it'll pick up.
Do you got your AirPods on right now?
Yeah.
I would recommend switching off Bluetooth and getting them off. Your phone it will be loud enough. You'll be able to hear me clearly, and I'll be able to hear you clearly even without your headphones.
Okay, let me try that.
I try them. I can hear you. In fact, you'll be louder without the.
I can't. I think I prefer this.
You prefer that? Okay, let's go with that then. Let's go with that. All right, man.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Welcome to the MJ show. Good. You can hear me. Welcome to the MJ show. And you know what? I was just telling everybody before you joined in that I first discovered you because of your Lamborghini video, and I thought that was one of the best. Because it had come to a point where there were so many cover versions of that dance video everywhere. Like everybody was putting up a version. But I thought the one that you did with Harleen was one of the coolest versions of that song ever. I think, and it's proven by the numbers that you have. I think it's the most viewed video on your channel as well, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. But before we get to Lamborghini and to the incredible success that you had with your YouTube channel, let's go way back in time. And as I always do when somebody comes on my show for the first time, I want to find out what I call the origin story. So what is Melvin Lewis's origin story? How did you get into dance? Who were your first inspirations? How did you learn? And what was the first thing that you did? So let's get there first.
I think I was always in love with dance. It was very it was a very good hobby initially. That's how it all started. It's as simple as that you start off with these little passions in the form of art, craft. Everybody likes something or the other. Mine used to be dancing. I used to enjoy dancing, but I never thought I would take it professionally. But then it just landed up happening, like with time. I always wanted like a desk job. I wanted to be like the stereotype, typical guy, working 9 to 6. But I think God had some other plans. So I got pushed into it. We basically cutting it short. I did a lot of desk jobs. I was doing good, and we saw a recession back in 2008 and 9. And that time I was working for a financial bank, which kind of crashed. and then job layoffs happened, and then I had some time. So I also had some money back then as savings. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a break and I'm going to probably continue dancing for a bit, because those days again I used to work Monday to Friday, and then I would dance Saturday, Sunday. So now I had the entire week to myself, and I used to teach a lot of people back then also. So then I had lined up coming out with the entire weekly schedule of mine. I started traveling to places, teaching, and then a few months later, I auditioned for a reality show, and then from there on, things took off.
But before the reality show and before taking it up, as a week long thing, who are your influences? Where did you learn to dance? Are you self taught? How did you get into
Yeah,
dance to begin?
I'm a self-taught. Yeah, of course. Like I did everything by myself. Never went to a class, and it was difficult back then. Also to search for a class. You never had good classes around, so it was really difficult. But then I really enjoyed the process of actually self-learning. So I used to watch any good dance video, and I would start imitating it. So that's how it started growing on me. So that was the process. Like, you watch and learn. So back in the days, we never had the internet. Also, we never had YouTube back then. So we used to actually get these DVDs and CDs from our friends who would probably have. So America's Best Dance Crew season one, two, I had it on DVD. We never had
Yeah,
it on YouTube. So we started watching what people were doing on the other side. It excited us, and I started pursuing it. So it was always there. Like, even like when the DVDs weren't there, we had those. I think. We had the Blu-ray disc that had come out, and then we had those MP3 players.
correct,
So you
correct.
could rewind forward at crazy speeds in them. You
Yeah.
could, so I remember like, using that to learn moves. So I would go back, see, watch it again, come back, started doing that. So I spent a lot of time watching myself into the mirror and trying to learn in front of the mirror. It worked.
Man, I just saw the first video on your channel. Guys, if you've not seen that, you gotta go and check it out. It's like some VGA camera phone or whatever. And Melvin dancing on Usher. Yeah. That
Yeah,
was so cool, man. I remember I was a teenage, I was in my teenage years or maybe a little older than that when that song came out and everybody loved it. And his dance moves were like, if you
yeah,
were a dancer, you wanted to do that song. And that's the first
yeah,
song on your, that's the first video that you
yeah,
put up on your channel.
yeah.
Man, go tell me some of the artists who were your early influences, the guys whom you heard or watched and said, I want to dance like that.
I think every singer that can probably dance well has always been an inspiration, because those are the kind of videos that would play again and again on MTV and these music channels. So when you're young and all, you were watching all these cool youth channels. You wanted to listen to music, and we never had access to internet, so we would resort on TV to play us
Yep.
something. So I think it all started off with like Michael Jackson being our age. From there on, you of course had like other iconic pop models also, like you had Madonna, you had Britney coming up and stuff like that. So, but boys like me wouldn't get inspired by that. We would get inspired by other boys who were performing. So I think after the entire Michael Jackson era, boys like Usher, Justin Timberlake came out with really good fresh music and fresh moves, and they were very slick. And I think I was really enjoying that phase and then everybody suddenly, like, even Chris Brown was like budding then. So I think it was like very evident, like a lot of people wanted to be good musicians, but then they were also good dancers. So it really helped finding some good videos, because that would lead to the choreographer making a video where they're making artists dance more. So it
Yeah.
worked as inspirational stuff for us. And that's
Very
what
cool.
probably, yeah, got us into the groove.
That's awesome, man. So in 2009, you said you did your reality show, right? And that was Dance India Dance.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
How was that experience? The experience of being on television in a
Oh,
reality show dancing.
I don't know. I had very mixed emotions while I was there and when I was outside of it also. Two, three great things happened. The good things that happened is that it was the most competitive season ever, like, in the history, because it was literally like, this for us. So what happened is that they came up with Dance India Dance season one, which landed up with very great TRP. And it suddenly became like the scale of what Indian Idol was. And this was for dancers. So we dancers never had any good shows. Back in the days, we only had Boogie Woogie. So then this turned out, Ari, this is like, something on the lines of American Idol, and you can go and, audition for it and stuff like that. So it got everybody's interest. And then we started like, prepping for it. But then what happened in our season, everybody showed up. And then from there on, you were seeing people from all parts of the country, plus around the world. These guys had auditioned for that season, even in the US. They had auditioned in Dubai, London, whatnot places, and they had got talent even from there. So it was very competitive right from day one. So then, as an artist or anything that you are who wants to pursue it, you have a good reality check. Like, you don't even have to wait for the show to go live on air. At the auditions itself, कि आप कितने पानी में हो, आपको पता चल
Where
जाता
you
है कि
stand,
like,
yeah.
where you stand. And that sort of triggers a lot of thought that you have to go back, work hard no matter what. And that's exactly what I did. So when I came, I mean, like, my experience on the show wasn't that great because I didn't make it. And also I was very low after that. Like, I was very troubled by the fact that I didn't make it. And it gets to you because when you audition on such a level, then everybody identify and understand that you're competing for something. And then you always have people coming back to you every time and asking you, oh, you didn't make it. Oh, you didn't make it. What went wrong? And I was tired telling everybody that story. So it kind of took a very bad hit on me emotionally because I was starting to also lose interest in that phase. Oh, I'm not good enough. Let me quit. And a lot of dancers did quit after that season. I know so many of them who auditioned, but after, as soon as it got aired, a lot of people quit dancing. So then I took it up as a challenge, but I said, like, let me pursue it. Let me see where I fit in. I'm not going to do any more reality shows for sure, but I'm going to try and find my way of reaching out to my own audience. So I started going to studios more often. I was enjoying teaching more. So I was doing everything at the studios more than the others. Like, I think there were other dancers who were more keen on assisting on these shows and, being a part of these shows somewhere or the other. I got offered to, but I don't know, I was just not feeling it. I said I want to approach this very differently and I want a very different treatment to it. Because for me, it was not about sticking around and doing those 12 weeks of a project. I wanted something which will probably survive laster with me. You know, I was very clear right from day one that probably I want to have an impression where I don't have to, uh, introduce myself. So I wanted an impact much more larger than that. And I think those kind of impacts happen only with consistent work. And sometimes when you're doing too much of TV or other stuff, then it's project based. So if the project is happening, then you're visible. If it's not happening, then what? So I was always afraid of going and taking that path because I was like always afraid, like, okay, you're going to do this for 12 weeks, but then what next? So instead, I would invest my time in the studios. I built myself my own Melvin Louis kingdom here with my own people, and we used to enjoy dancing. So we enjoyed and we were vibing. I never thought it would get this big, but with time, but it
But
did.
it's amazing, man. So you're saying that between the reality show and where you're at right now, when did you start taking YouTube really seriously? Saying that, you know what, I've got to put out content.
Never.
Like, that thought come in that, I got to keep making, and because you've been putting up videos now consistently for a fairly long time, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll tell you what happened. I actually, after the show got over, a few years passed, I got into the studio business. I opened a few studios. Money was coming in, so I was not too worried on the money front. Oh, I have to still balance my life out and stuff. Money started coming in. You're like a kind of set. You're not making a lot either. Neither you're making too less. You're fine. So at that phase, I was wanting to take a break off dance. So I actually took like a sabbatical where about 2 years I wasn't teaching much. Like, I had a team that would teach, I would train them, and then they would teach the others. That is the new cycle that began. But with time, I think what happened is that I started realizing that, damn, I don't have any footages where I'm doing all these crazy stuff that I can do. So what do I do? So then it triggered the thought of, let's start at least uploading, videos and keeping them just like, reserve, just to maybe like, decades later, look back at your younger self and see, oh, what were you doing back in the days? So the idea triggered from that. And, and then, I started documenting everything that I did. Like, and these were just my general class videos. Now to people make planned production videos for YouTube, but I was just filming what we were doing in class. So if I taught a class, at the end of the class, two people join me, we all three dance together and we shoot a video. That was it. But then one of the videos in 2016, which was the Kala Chashma video, that went viral. And I actually had watched this movie Sultan.
I
So
lost
that
your
was the
voice
movie.
there a bit. Which was the song you said in 2016? Just can you repeat that?
Uh, it was the song Kala Chashma, and yeah, and just 2 weeks or 3 weeks back, you had the release of the film Sultan, and I was going through a very low phase that time because I had lost a lot of money in business. Some of the projects didn't do well, and I had like some bills to pay, and I was like, I'm gonna cover this and whatever. I remember watching Sultan alone by myself in the theater, and I like that scene in the film in the climax. You have the protagonist who was Salman Khan. He's competing with himself. That's what he sees in the end. So that triggered like a lot of thought that I'm worried about worldly things right now, and I think I need to really challenge myself and bring out the best in me. And I need to focus on competing with myself and not get pressurized by peer pressure or other things. And I started focusing totally on that. And just 10 days later, Kala Chashma just went viral. I remember watching that film around 19th of July, and 30th of July is when I went viral. So, and that got me like some motivation because the video started doing well on a platform like Facebook. It was not YouTube. So it picked up on Facebook first. And I was like, damn, like it picked up on Facebook. And then the same night I posted it on YouTube. And then it picked up on YouTube as well. And then suddenly I have mails from all over the world, 2, 3 days into it, everybody was sharing it. And I was just so happy that it was happening organically. And then that was my first organic loud reach. But then it didn't stop there. Then came the pressure of now you have an audience and they
And
want
now
to
you got
get
to
to
build
know.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the difficult process starts after you get your first viral video. Getting
That's
one is easy. Getting one is easy. But then I had to go on and on and on. And YouTube makes you work like a machine. Like, you
yeah,
need to
man.
put up content literally like every week, every 4 days. There are different kinds of bloggers, vloggers, different category of people. So I said, dance has nobody. Where do I get my inspiration from? So I saw some people in the West doing it, and they were quite often like, they were organically doing it like every week, one video. So I started with the 1 week, one video thing, and then it took off. Then we had like a long cycle. Like till today, I've shot since then, since Kala Chashma, I have uploaded around 178 videos on YouTube. Yeah, that's like a lot of videos to make.
That's a lot of
It's
videos,
difficult.
man.
Yeah.
Now I can imagine, and I get what you're saying that once you got something good and you know that there's an audience who wants to watch even better stuff, then there's that sort of a little bit of a pressure on your mind saying that okay, what do I do next? So how did
Yeah.
you go about choosing the songs on which you would do choreography and dance? Was it just organic, like somebody came and told you, "Chalo, ye gana karna," ya was there a process to the work?
No, I was first of all very angry with music labels because they were suddenly blocking our videos on all platforms. So especially international music. Then I actually reached out to the labels here in Bombay. I contacted Sony Music. I would ask them like, what's happening and stuff. I went for a meeting there. They told me, see, international music, their laws are different. We can't help it. So then I was like, you know what? Forget international music. I think I'm very proud of our musicians here. I'm going to experiment on their songs. I'm going to experiment on their music. Let me try Indian music. And then came, this era of Punjabi music tracks that were like, with crazy programming and stuff. And I started picking that up. So I was dancing to everything that came along. So everything that released, I wanted to try it because for me, it was not about picking up a trendy song. For me, it was a challenge, like how good you are and how good can you choreograph any song in this world. So I started picking up any genres. Like you would throw a song at me, I would just pick it up. It was like that. So I started doing old retro numbers. I started doing new numbers. I started doing Punjabi pop numbers, non-film music, did everything. And it just started doing well. So I'm like glad that I do well.
That's awesome, man. If I had to ask you, of all the videos that you have done so far, the songs that you've danced on, if you had to pick up, say, your top 5 songs, I don't mean
Hmm.
how well they did in terms of the number of views and so on. It could be that as well. But what were your top 5 songs that you enjoyed choreographing and dancing to?
I think the process of each one of them has been very critical for me. In fact, I'll tell you how the best one works for me. So the thing is that even if you enjoy it or whatever, somewhere deep down inside you are still critical about it because you think that there is more to you, and there is more that can be done. I mean, of course, like by numbers, if you go, the favorites would come across as, oh, Lamborghini did good, this did good. But I think most of my videos that actually where I have put in a lot have not done well. There's again like a list of those songs that have not done well. So I used to do these English numbers. There was one track which I did called Don't Let Me Down, which was by Chainsmokers. That was like a very crazy beat. We've danced crazy, but the views didn't pick up. But it's okay. I every time go back and I tell myself, dang, this is like super cool. I really enjoyed Kala Chashma. That was one video which never came across perfect. In fact, if you watch Kala Chashma now also, we are very much out of sync because we were just enjoying it. There is a suitcase parked at the back of the studio. You can see a suitcase on the frame because my camera guy had to catch a flight. So we never had time, and he's also dancing in it. So we were making mistakes. So we've edited it, patched it up, done something, and just put it out there. And imagine a video like that does well. I'm like, oh dang, like I wasn't even like dressed properly. My hair is all shabby in it. Everything is like out of place, but still it works. So I think I'm just grateful for all, but I really see the forthcoming things like, I never have sat down and told myself, oh, these are my five best things or two best things or whatever. I'm very overcritical. Like I don't satisfy myself. Like even when people tell me, oh, Lamborghini, this, that, I know where we could have done better. I still know. So I'm like, dang, like, we did not do that bit, but okay, fine. You guys like it. I'm happy.
Speaking of Lamborghini, there's like this little connection that I'm making right now with you and me right now, because I had Ragini Tandon who sang that song on my show
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. And before the lockdown began, I had Harleen and Vikrant Masi that come to promote a show that they did on Alt Balaji, Broken But Beautiful. So that's when I spoke with her and I told her at that interview itself that, man, I loved what you did with Melvin and I'd love to get him on the show someday and chat. In fact, while another Old Balaji show, actor was on my show, I reached out to Harleen and I told her, man, I got to get in touch with Melvin. I'd love to bring him on before I wrap down this lockdown season. I'd love to actually do a proper episode where we are sitting side by side and chatting as well. But I said, before the lockdown season gets over, I got to get you on. So Harleen actually connected us. And I got to tell you, man, I love the videos that you've done with her. It's not just that, you've done multiple videos with her. And you've got some other incredible young women dancing with you. So
Yeah.
tell me about that. How do these collaborations happen? Do you decide whom you're going to dance with? Are they your students? Do they work with
No,
you?
no, I think most of the videos have happened because so Harleen used to come to class. That's how the videos happened with her. Sandeepa used to come to class. So they were all like, training and any which ways learning. And then when I was doing these choreos and I wanted somebody to do it, I think I found them around and they were genuinely doing it well. So I shot it with them, and that's how the video started getting, happening. And then once I did the video, it was really not a thing that, oh, now we've done a video, now we have to do it again because, it's a trend that we are starting. But people started writing in comments, hey, where is Sandeep Adar? Hey, where is Harleen Sethi? We want Harleen back. We want some. So then it started happening that, okay, fine, I started doing videos with them. And always, even till today, like a lot of people approach me and I tell them, yes, of course, we will do a video together. And they have a song releasing, so it's a singer sometimes. Sometimes it's an actor because they have a movie releasing. Sometimes it's an upcoming artist. I've been open to all. So I've done people. I've tried to say yes to as many people as I can. And with my time management, it's not that I only YouTube. I had like a business to look into also. So making out time for this shooting activity also took over my entire schedule sometimes, but I had to double my shifts out and then make sure that I have time for everything to do. So I think pretty much I managed to make dancers dance, non-dancers dance, beginners dance, professionals dance. It's been fun.
I can imagine, man. So, of people who were not your students, who are some of the interesting people that you had the pleasure of getting to dance with you? Actors, maybe, or non dancers whom you've had or even dancers. I mean, actors who are dancers, like a Varun Dhawan who did a song with you. He's
Yeah,
a phenomenal dancer
yeah.
himself. So, who are some of your collaborations that you enjoyed doing, who were not your students?
I think let me give a shout out to all the boys. Considering you brought Varun in, there was Rajkumar Rao. I did a video with. There was the singer. There was this one with Shan. Me and Shan did something, and I think these were the three that happened. There was also one where I did with Cyrus Saukar and Mini Mathur. We did a video with them also. So I think these are like those videos that you don't plan and they land up happening. So I was not expecting to do a video with Rajkumar Rao. It happened. It was I got a call from production and they said like we want to collab. I said, okay, cool, let's do it. And it was good to see these people move because as an audience, you've never seen them in that light. You've never seen them come to the studio and do all of this. So they did that. I'm grateful that it happened. So I think these would turn out to be like one of those few favorite ones, which are the unexpected ones. Like, these weren't expected to happen. Never think that, these will happen. Like sometimes it's predictable. Like say for example, if you see Varun Dhawan also watching, like, doing a video with me, it's predictable that, oh, he's a dancer, he's dancing. Cool. Like, but when you make the non-dancers do it, that's the part which I've enjoyed the most. I choreographed Tanish Bakshi for a duet. Uh, we did a video. I made him dance. So I think these are the ones like, which have been like a lot of work also. And at the same time, there was a lot of nervousness around. Like, oh, Melvin, we are nervous. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And we just made it happen. So I'm grateful for that.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. In fact, Harleen is just here and just said hi to us. So, hi, Harleen.
Oh,
Good to
she
see
did?
you. Yes, she
Hi,
just
Harleen.
did. Good to see her there. Oh, I also saw you got Neha Kakkar dancing with you as well, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she rules the internet right now. Like, oh my
yeah,
God, she's got like this legion of fans and like hundreds and millions of followers everywhere. Even
that's
with
correct.
Tony, the song that you guys did, that's also another one of the songs that's I think which is
Yeah,
that Coca-Cola song, right? You guys did
Coca-Cola song.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, yeah.
That also got like fantastic views on your channel.
Yeah, I think the good thing about artists like Neha and all has been that they are always up for such things. Like, they obviously have a busy schedule. Like, the thing is that Neha has a busy schedule, so she has to really make time. So even the days when she came for rehearsal, she would actually finish her recordings and then make that time for about an hour and then we had to like accomplish it. So I'm grateful that that happened because the first time I collaborated with her was Tony's song, the Ludo song, which had come out and that hit the roof and like to everybody it came as a surprise. So we had the original video dropping and in less than 24 hours there was suddenly a cover of me and Neha on it. So and then that crossed like millions of views and it's all her reach and her following. She has a crazy following and that worked out well. Then we did Aak Mare we landed up posting on Neha's channel and that crossed 100 million views. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was pretty massive. Like, so these videos have done pretty well with Neha, especially. It's always like a delight. Also because she's very energetic and she will rub off that energy and vibe on you. And she's always up for it. So it's great to have been working with such artists who have. I also get to learn from them, to be honest. Like, I get to learn so much that they're working so hard. You learn from the determination and the point of getting things right. They're all perfectionists in their own way and they sometimes rub that off genius on you. So I'm like also observing and learning from them. It's great.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Neha was actually on the show almost 6 years ago when she just released that Blue Hai Pani Pani song and a few songs. And I've seen in those 6 years since then, it's been unbelievable the kind of progression that she's had with her career, with her music, with her fan following. It's pretty spectacular, and I wish her all the best and have ton of love for her, for Tony, for Sonu, all three of them. Three siblings who are making great music and doing some really really cool things. Now, you know what? Let's talk about the kind of stuff that you've been doing during this lockdown. How have you been keeping yourself busy? Are you working on new songs? Have you been recording new content that you're going to be putting out? What's happening?
So there are a few things. So I think when the lockdown started, I really thought it's not going to extend this much, but I think after 20 days, I thought that no, this is going to increase. So I started doing a lot of mental prep. I think my primary thing is that I shouldn't come out of this with any kind of mental instability or mental illnesses or any kind of suppressed emotions or anything that is going to affect my rapport or behavior tomorrow with people. Because I think a lot of people, because of this forceful thing of staying inside, would come out angry. A lot of people are going to come out changed. Their approach to worldly things could change. So first thing I tell myself not to change at all and keep my presence and peace of mind. Also to not be always bitter about things and stuff because like that's a very pessimistic approach. So I try and be as optimistic as possible. The second thing is that I tell myself I have to do something creatively every day. Now it could either be learning something, it could be writing something, composing something, or you're just probably sitting on your notes and scribbling, or maybe just going through some other videos from which you're observing and learning. So I'm watching a lot of making videos, like how movies were shot, how music videos were shot, how this was made. there was this entire fight sequence in Extraction, which was about 10 to 12 minutes long. So I went through the in-depth detail of it. So I know now what camera they use, what this they use, where was the light, what was it. So I started studying everything properly. Now I do that even right now. So first things first, I do something creatively. So that creative process there, I've come up with a few online segments and shows. It's too early to announce because they're right now in the process. There is one thing that we've come up with recently, which is called Writing a Song with Melvin Louis. I've not named the show yet, so currently we're calling it Writing a Song with Melvin Louis, where I turn a live conversation into a song. So we write the lyrics of the song. Okay, it doesn't have to make sense or whatsoever. We do it only for fun and thrill purposes. We write the lyrics to the song, and then we put a beat to it, and then we compose it, and then we actually try and make a video on it. So I'm trying to do that format right now, and I just did a live session 2 days back, from which I do have the content where people have also written lines. So we took everybody's names also. It was actually on a live call for like 40 minutes, and the beat has come out really cool, and I'm going to be dropping it tomorrow. So that is one thing that I've come up with fresh. Then there are other
Nice.
things also that I'm doing online where I'm making people dance online. I'm doing some live sessions. I'm teaching online. Like once in every 10 days, I'm doing one session for my fans and friends around the
Nice.
world who log in, and we do this Zoom live thing. Then, so I'm doing creatively, something or the other is happening. So I'm not like
Very
on
cool.
anymore on, I'm not on Instagram anymore. Like I'm not going through my explore feed, seeing stuff, worried about what do I post next. No, I've taken a break from that. So if I don't have I don't have content to post, that's fine. But doing something creatively, that's like the most second important thing. And then
Very,
the
very
third
cool,
most
man.
important
Very
thing
cool.
is spending time with family. And I just spend as much time with my mom, dad, talk to them, and that's about it.
That's awesome, man. You got three really good things to keep yourself occupied, and you know, I love the fact that you want to constantly keep looking at things, learning, and that's something that I believe in as well. I'm always looking at content. I'm looking at movies. I'm reading books. You can see that that's my
Yeah.
comic book collection right above me. I've
Wow.
spent time reading comic books over the last few weeks, and people think comic books are just for kids, but they're not. They're like proper good writing, but with great pictures. But I gotta ask you, have you ever seen the old Hollywood films and the fact that the actors back then not only did they act but they also sang and danced. For instance, two of my favorite people from back then, it just came to me right now, were Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. Have you checked
Hmm.
out their content? Have you seen any of their movies?
No, I think so I'll be very honest. I'm a big fan of comedians. So I dig I dig more of Jim Carrey kind of content because that's the kind of content sometimes people like how did you do that or how quick was that is what is much more difficult to also uh, identify. And like I've been a fan of animation films, like the storytelling, the narrations, getting the emotions right, because you have a certain amount of control on what can be produced. So right now, I've of course grown up with like watching everybody, like even from the Hollywood films. If you ask me, you'll get all stereotyped answers, like because stereotype answers like, oh, the same thing which got like world popular and what a show and what amazing this thing or that thing. I think I'm done with that now. I think that's just common observation. To be different from that crowd, you'll have to think much more higher. And to establish that kind of creativity, I think you have to look at other things. So I think I've seen like a lot. So I went on this spree of watching all Charlie Chaplin films all over again. So then I watched it, and then I rewatched it, and then I rewatched it. Then I started digging on the making, and then I started comparing it to what was like comparing the timelines. So at this phase of Charlie Chaplin, when his life was not so good, what is the kind of scenes and creativity that he was doing? You know what I mean? So for me, now digging content is like that. So I want to know if an artist is doing something, how are they emotionally? How are they coping up with their life at the same time managing all of this? So I'm finding all of those stuff out. And this is not something rocket science because you are always scrolling through your feeds. One probably comes in and then it tells you about oh, did you know this about Charlie Chaplin? And then you're like, no, yeah. And then you go back and then you want to research. So I've been doing that kind of stuff at like for the longest time now. For 2, 3 years, I've been just practicing that now. So I
Wow,
like
very
knowing
good.
people's story and then seeing their creative process and then putting it together because the approach changes. Because your entire vision of what they did uh, comes from a very different critique perspective. You don't tend to be overcritical then. You're much about like, damn, that was difficult.
Yeah,
So, I, back in the days, Tom and Jerry and everything, stop motion picture was on. The reason why I'm telling you about animation, back then what they created as Walt Disney could never be achieved even till now. Like a lot of people tried
correct.
imitating it, but never happened. And if you see some of the graphics and how they established those scenes, it's pretty crazy, man. That's a lot
So,
of effort.
since you spoke about Tom and Jerry, I'm going to recommend this to you one more time. And I'll tell you the names of some of the movies. We'll communicate after the show. You have to check out Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. And Gene Kelly was one of the few guys who actually did an animation and real life. So, like, you could see him in real life and he was actually dancing with Jerry. So, there's a Tom and Jerry movie in which Gene Kelly is dancing, and he's one of the most unbelievable dancers. And back then, the entire dance sequence was shot in one take. You make one mistake,
Yeah,
you have to
because
record the entire sequence
yeah, they should try and
again.
save reels.
Exactly. So it was unbelievable, man. It was phenomenal. And these movies are incredible. And
Yeah.
I'm going to send you some recommendations. You got to check them out. They are really, really good movies. Okay, let's get back to where you are at right now. When this lockdown eventually does get over, tell me the first thing that you really, really want to do
What
with
do I
your
want to
craft.
do? Like, I missed the question. What?
I said, when the lockdown gets over, what's the first thing you want to do? What's the first thing you want to put out? What do you want to do creatively once the lockdown is over?
I don't know. I think apart from probably just resuming, primarily it's going to be like, trying to bring back life together because, I have to see like, how business picks up back again because it's completely at halt at the moment. So need to figure out all of those things. So I think all the responsible things will happen first. And if everything picks up fine and normal, then immediately it's a vacation. Like I think if I really want to take like a break and probably like take some time off and spend time with family or probably just travel and see the world. Maybe I want to do that. And I think for now I'm not really thinking about when it gets over. I think right now I've just kept my brain to also like what do I do today, because I think when you think about too many things it just adds too much of pressure. If I have to like think about, oh, like there's so much that we've lost in the past few days. There's so much that we've not been able to cope up with. There is so much of suppressed emotions right now in the brain that just standing up tomorrow and be like, okay, life is back, it's not going to happen.
It's
So
not going to
first things
happen.
first, you need to deal with all of this first, and then you need to step out. If you're not moved out from this, you are going to step out angry. I think people are going to just step out very angry. They will not say it. They will just be nasty. It'll come out in the form of one-liners. It'll come out in the form of taunts. It'll come out in the form of, oh, you don't know anything. It's like I think human interaction is going to be a little tricky for me. And I interact with a lot of people. So my idea is I should not pass it on. Even if somebody is venting it on me, I should not be the one passing it on. There has to be like a cutoff to that negative energy. So I think I want to do that bit.
No, but you know what? I love what you just said right now because I want to address the people watching us right now. Firstly, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. And there's so much live content happening on Instagram and Facebook and this and that. You could be watching anything, but you're here. You're watching the story of Melvin Louis with me on the MJ show. So I'm grateful that you could be here. And for all the fans who've been telling Melvin how much they love him and how big, fans they are of his dance and of his work and of his smile and the way he dresses and everything, there are a whole bunch of you who are just venting right now. I mean, it's either venting or you're just, it is a lot of bile that I'm seeing randomly over here as well. And, I want to ask you, Melvin, firstly, how do you deal with people like that? Because, you've got millions of followers now. You've got a lot of
Yeah.
followers on Instagram, on
Yeah.
Facebook, on YouTube. And for every 10 great compliments that you get about your dance, there are
Yeah.
these couple of guys who are going to be really mean to you. And in your
Yeah.
case, when I say 10 and 2 or 10 and 1, it's not just 10 and 1. It's like maybe 100,000 great comments and you got 10,000 really, really nasty comments to deal with. How do you deal with
Uh,
that?
so I think it's very so Mir, I'll tell you what. I think the easy bit of this, how if there is anybody out there, it's also for them. You always do you because you are doing it whether you have one audience member or you have a million. Correct. So it has always been you put your talent out there in the form of your honest creativity and you package it out there and whatever best you can do. That is one way of seeing things that you have to continue doing it. Second thing is that the negativity, right? It's always like it's always probably like that circle is very small and tiny.
Yeah.
It's triggered by one person, two people, three people. You will have only very little that will try to do a lot of noise, but that does not work. You should not fall for it. It's the same people who are trying to do it again and over and over and again with different names, profiles, whatever. It's the same people. If you read the context, how they write, what they write, does it? Because there are important things. I'll tell you how. I don't just use Instagram. I use YouTube. I use WhatsApp. I use different platforms. There are so many platforms where these haters are missing. So where are these haters? These haters are on platforms which they think I use to reach out to my audience. And they think that I use only one platform. So that's the way you look at things. And you know what? It's not even about like you hating them back or oh, I'm gonna fight my haters. You can't get through to me, bro. No, I am not here. I've not sold people the way I talk. What I've sold to people is my art. So the way I practice it and the way I pursue it, what happens in the middle, they don't see. They don't see it. So my connection is whatever outgoing energy that I have, it just has to be positive because isn't it like a saying that whatever energy you emit, it's going to come back to you. So even if you feel victimized or even if you feel targeted or even if you feel that, oh, whatever, but if you take that hit, then you're letting them win and it's going to affect you. And if it affects you, because they do that intentionally, to stop the creative process of someone, it is targeted. Like, we need to stop this guy. How do we stop this guy? We need to stop this
Yeah.
guy. He's doing very well. How do we stop him? We need to stop him. We need to stop making people love him. How do we stop that? So
Yeah.
if the intention of hater is so clear, then your intention of fighting should also be clear. You're not even fighting. You are just, this is all you have to do for haters. Yeah, you don't have to do nothing. This is Neo. This is Neo from Matrix. Oh, bullet coming through. Dodge, 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 dodge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you have to be.
You know what? I just realized one
But
thing.
listen, before
Ha,
that, there is
ha,
this beautiful line from Matrix
ha.
where Neo is training with Morpheus. Yeah, and Morpheus is just going ta 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 ta. Have you seen that scene? It
I
happens in
have
that
in that dojo.
dojo. Yeah, in that dojo. And Morpheus has this brilliant line where he says, "Stop trying to hit me and hit me." That's the line. Like, stop trying to hit me and it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's not happening. You can try. If you think your words are going to get through, no. I mean, like, I don't fall for it anymore. And especially, I think this happens like a lot of young people fall for it. Yeah. Like, they really,
Yeah.
I have so many people that I know, they're so afraid to post
Correct.
because, oh my God, if I post this, they're going to say this. I've had common friends, like my common friends who don't even have a social life as much on Instagram. With just 200 followers, conscious about a picture. Oh shit, they're going to mock my hair. I'm like, you have bloody only 250 followers. What are you worried about?
Yeah.
You post once in 3 months. Like, what is your problem with posting this picture? No, yeah, my hair is looking bad. They're going to tell this to me. Like, no, yeah, you have to get past that. You have to really get past
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
No,
just
I
do that.
agree with you, man. And before I get to the fun thing, I want to tell everybody watching right now. I had Malini Agarwal, Miss Malini, on the show a few weeks ago, and she's writing a book right now to deal with how our generation, this entire internet generation, deals with being on social media and how nobody has taught people how to behave on social media, right? You were taught how to do things in school, you were taught how to behave by your parents, but
Yeah.
social media is a new thing. So your parents didn't teach you how to behave on social media. But I think one of the rules that she spoke about that everybody can follow is just this. If you meet Melvin Louis in person or if you meet me in person, the stuff that you type out, would you say it to our face? If you can say that to our face, please post it on social media. If you think you don't have the balls to say that to our face, think twice before typing it out as well. Just because you have the anonymity of the internet doesn't mean that you are not saying those things. You think twice,
Yeah.
before you say something to somebody you love. And it's not just the two of us, you know, women, men, all the people who are creating content for you, or like he said, a friend of yours with 250 followers, if he's got hair looking a certain way, would you go up to him and say, Abhay, kya chutiya lag raha hai? Would you say that to him on his face? If you wouldn't, follow that same rule to type out stuff on social media as well. It's a simple logic, right? I think it works well.
But I'll tell you what, Mihir, the thing is, we need to all stop talking about it. So I'll tell you what triggers thought. What triggers thought is the situation. Nobody cares about the right or wrong. Me through any open debate. I've tried this by myself. I've done this nice, beautiful, crazy story. This I did like around 1.5 years back. I gave people two options, asked them to choose. I never wrote any parameters. There are just two colors, right? Red and blue. Pick a color. Some people pick blue, some people pick red. The same people tomorrow would pick the opposite depending on their mood. You know, it's like because it's like free outgoing opinion which you don't care about. That's one way. The second thing is I gave them both the options and I said one color is lighter, one is darker. Now choose, which was like light red and dark red. People still chose. The best part is both were the same. Not one person wrote back saying, hey, wait, they both are identical. I said, no, this is one lighter. Nobody did that. So it talks about the situation wherein if there is a debate, people need to take sides. If there is
Aside.
something, yeah, so never put it in that space. Like right now, even if you tell people like, would you say to the face, all of that, trust me, they will still not stop doing whatever they're doing because it's an outward opinion and nobody's ever going to learn from it. It never happens. It never happens because I'll tell you why. The sensible ones need not be told. They already know all of this. The ones
That's
who
true.
practice this are always targeting. You cannot teach people how not to target someone
That
because
is true.
this is something which is inbuilt. If watching others' lives has been their set of evolution because they see other people, they want to be like them or not be like them and be like the other one, then they tend to behave like this. That's why a lot of creators or influencers or whatsoever who are just doing their thing, they're still passing all of this because actually, if you see all the YouTubers majorly, they receive so much of hate. Everybody, be it singers, anybody, a lot of hate all the time. Comedians get hate for cracking jokes. They get targeted. There's so much of racist comments given, this comment, that comment, on appearance, on this or that. I think everybody's moved past that. Everybody's accepted it as a creator or influencer. This is going to go on. This is an endless affair. Stop trying to fight it or be like, oh, don't bully us or don't that or don't. It doesn't work. You're not going to have that. The minute you climb the ladder, this is going to happen with everybody. And you know what? We are nobody. If you read and if you actually see the documentaries by Taylor Swift, by Britney, if you see their interviews, why they were hated for no godforsaken reason, why Justin Bieber was put out in the media like that, even for the silliest of mistakes, how it was blown out of proportion, what happened to Michael Jackson, what do you think was happening? They were all
Yeah.
targeted all the time. So you as an artist have to get used to it because if you don't dodge those bullets, my friend, it's gonna get to you. And if the day it sinks in, then you have lost track of what you were doing creatively. Now it's more about how it's going to be accepted. You're worried about how much negative can they write on this. So you're going to lose that. So I just say that ignore it. Like, as an artist, ignore it. Let them do whatever they want to.
I like that. I like that. That's another way of definitely looking at it. While of course we can always make an attempt to make this a better world. The other way of looking at it is just ignore the hate and continue doing what you're doing. And man, you've been doing some unbelievable stuff. And I want to again. I started it off. I started off the show by complimenting your work, and I want to kind of get to the end also with a massive compliment. I think it's phenomenal the quality of content, videos that you've been putting out, the great dance routines that you've been putting out. And as we can see clearly, there are a whole bunch of young kids who are looking at your videos and who are learning from you. And you are a teacher to maybe thousands and millions of kids who you have never met or whom you probably never will meet. Like you said, you're a self-taught dancer, and a whole bunch of people are actually probably going to be good dancers by looking at the way you dance. So congratulations and lots of love and respect for you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mir. I mean, like, it actually, I once had gotten a call, an email actually. So, some tourist in Varanasi had seen some kids outside a hut play my video and watch dance. So he wrote to me and he sent me a picture of those kids outside the hut watching my video. And he said, whatever you're doing, please don't stop. And that time I was a budding influencer. I had less than 100K subscribers back then. Don't stop. There is somebody out there learning from it. They
That's
won't be able to write
fantastic.
back to
That's
you.
absolutely amazing.
So I said, okay.
So, it's really inspirational how people all across the world are learning from content. And like you said, nobody should, if you're doing something with the right intentions, definitely do not stop. Keep making stuff, and eventually, yes, if you keep making, if there is regularity to your content, it will be seen by a lot of people, and there will be a point where you will break out. So that's why I've been seeing some of the content. A lot of people asking you, how do we become dancers? How do we gain the kind of following that you have? And I think you've inadvertently answered all of those questions for people as well. Now I know, hey, I know you are on all sorts of platforms. I also checked you out on TikTok. What do you think about the whole new craze of just doing small 30-second, 15-second, 45-second dances on TikTok? And it's kind of blown up, man. Like one song becomes popular, like
Hmm.
everybody wants to make a dance on that.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Are you enjoying being on TikTok and putting up dances there as well?
See, I'll tell you, there are always going to be different formats, or there are different formats that are going to come out. Like this is like a 15 second, or 30 second, or 1 minute, which is TikTok. No harm, right? Because a lot of people have less time, and not everybody wants to be a content creator. We've started assuming that if you post, Arey, you're a content creator. For somebody who was just generally casually also posting on Instagram, has now tried to has now started to act cool, because they are all thinking that with the growing numbers, with great numbers come great responsibility of being a great influencer. I think that's wrong. That's wrong, because I think you just need to, these platforms are actually only for interaction. You like a song, you have TikTok, you can upload it, you can probably see it for yourself, or you can let others watch it. Now, why you're uploading that content is also important. If you like that song, or if you like your take on that song, because TikTok offers you that non-hassle edit option, where you don't
Correct.
need a professional editor to cut you the video out, see you, all
Correct.
that. It's instant,
Correct.
right? So that's instant, and then you can see others do it, and you're getting yourself inspired. So it's good. It's good that it is happening. I would never see it as, oh my God, this is art. But I would definitely see it as, this is talent, this is content, this is fun, this is, different kinds of things. And to the art bit of it, getting into crazy transitions, to coming out with crazy interpretations, and going back and answering those questions like, how did he do that? And then thinking about it, that is art, my friend. So
That
even if
is.
somebody's doing it in 15 seconds or a minute, no, I think, a notion is like, oh, TikTok is bad and this and that and less or whatever. I'm not one of those people. I'll tell you why. World records were broken to be the fastest, correct? So to be the fastest 15 seconder, fastest 1 minute, or whatever it is that you're doing it, if you add more sense to it, and if you are getting good validation for it, no harm, yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Absolutely, and you kind of answered the follow up question that I would have had for that, about the whole debate that's been taking over our country right now, which is the whole YouTube versus TikTok. And my way of looking at it is, no platform is bad, right? The platform by
No,
itself is not bad.
no,
It's
no.
some of the content that has been put on it. So if we can regulate that,
I think people who are doing this
changing
debate or
by
whatever, I think need to just stop. Because I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, when I wasn't out there on social media or whatever, YouTube was a platform which was helping me. It helped me reach out to so many people. So definitely I owe it to them. If TikTok tomorrow is gonna take your video and make it viral, or probably get you noticed to the right people who are gonna give you money, I think we need to learn to respect these platforms. We are not somebody who should just get up and mock anything. I mean, like, even people writing their personal vlogs. I mean, what's with the numbers, bro? Think about it. You could write a personal vlog, and you could have probably a millionaire. Probably you have 10 people coming on it. One of them is a millionaire, loves your idea, buys it. Your valuation shoots up. Now you tell me, where was it sensible posting? This platform, that platform? No, I don't think so. It's all about opportunities, right? At the end of the day, artists are doing all of this whole social media thing, or influencers are doing this because they want to get noticed. They want ideas to get picked up. They want themselves to be picked up. Good. So then, I mean, like, just be grateful, because if you start this thing, other people who don't know how it works will end up taking sides unnecessarily, which is just silly. I mean, like, I love both. I love YouTube. I love TikTok. I don't have a problem with either. I spend time on both. I'm grateful for all.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so before Instagram tells us now that your 60 minutes are up, I gotta ask you one final thing before we wrap up for today. If I ever have a singer, I always make them sing. Now I recognize that we are in this little square format where I can't really make you dance. But sitting here, can you show like a move that our fans, your fans here, can see, which can be done in this little square box? And for people who are watching, maybe you can learn something and do a version of what he's doing and put it up on TikTok.
All you gotta do, okay, I've been trying this for a few days with a few lives, but people don't succeed. So, me, you gotta try this, okay? You gotta put your
Okay.
arms across like that. Yeah, all right. Keep it visible to me so I can see it. Pull it back a little. Pull it towards yourself. Nice. Now, you have to make your left thumb move with your right finger. So, move both like that. Yeah. See, right now, your ring finger is also moving. Yeah?
I've broken this finger, so I can't move that. That's
Okay,
why I'm
fine.
moving
Oh,
it.
sorry. So, try the opposite one. Sorry.
Huh,
Bring it closer. Mir, come on.
huh.
Bring both your hands closer. I need to see it. So you need to practice this altercations, yeah? So people who can try this out, this is also like a brain exercise. So
Wow, man, so hard. Fuck, that's
so give it to people,
crazy.
but this is only the beginning. You have to learn to do all. So it has to go, yeah. So it goes like one step, two step, and then you curl it. So you can probably with your fingers, you can actually learn a lot of control because you need to know control as a dancer. Basically, what looks different in the videos is people with good control and people who suck at it. So when you're in form, you need good control. So exercises like these help.
That's awesome, man. Man, I got to tell you, I had a great time chatting with you. Thank you for taking the time out and coming on my show. And for everybody who's watching right now, this episode, of course, will not only be here on Instagram, but it'll go up on the YouTube channel of the MJ Show. So go subscribe to that so that you can see not only Melvin's story, but the story of many singers, dancers, actors who've come on my show. And I'm flipping the camera to show you this. Melvin got like almost, he's getting at 4 million subscribers right
Almost
now.
getting 4 million.
I have already subscribed. Go subscribe to it. Hit that bell icon. Check out all the new stuff that he is putting out because he's got an incredible channel, ladies and gentlemen. Follow him not just on YouTube but on all the other social media platforms that he's on. Melvin, you want to give a final message to all your fans, friends who are watching in right now?
It was lovely fun and a lot of good talks that happened. And I'm sure you're such an experienced interviewer now that you tend to make people open up and make them feel comfortable. So thank you for making me feel comfortable and thank you for being such a great host, Neil. I'm really looking forward to also listening to your music. I guess you do music and I wanna definitely check it out. And someday when all of this is over, we're gonna try. Oh, shout out to that Mumbai Blues, everybody! Mumbai
I have
Blues.
an English blues and rock and roll album, so give it a listen.
Yes. So, is there some place where I can check it out online? Your music, is it published?
Every music platform all across the world. This album was released in 2014 by Times Music. In 2015, we won the GMA Award for Best Rock Album for that. And
Wow.
it's been great, man. It's been a fantastic journey. I've always wanted to make music of my own. And while doing that, I've enjoyed for over 16 years now interviewing and talking to artists. So I've done over 500 interviews, and the MJ Show completes 7 years in August. So, it's been a lot of fun talking to artists because for me, as much as I enjoy making music, I also enjoy conversations. There's always something I learn from every person I've had on my show, whether it was back in the day on radio, because I did radio for 8 years, and now this for 7 years, and it's been fantastic. So thank you so much, man.
And
Thank you so
yeah,
much for
and it's really commendable because it's easy to plan all these things, write down on paper, and when you come to do it, you have to make so much of time. And right now, what you're doing this on Instagram, like for people, for yourself, and you're covering such good topics and good questions, especially for people to also learn from it. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, Mir, for having me. I had some fun, and maybe once the lockdown is over, we should catch up here sometime and probably plan something.
100%. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Please tell your fans to subscribe to the MJ Show as well. You got so many fans.
Yes,
I'm sure they love
everybody
it.
whoever is here because of my handle and is watching me right now, please do go check out MJ Show. Mir also has this YouTube channel called The MJ Show, and he interviews everybody. And there's always something to learn of people. So please go watch them. Right now, lockdown is going on, and you can really listen out. And all I would say to finish this is that guys, be home, stay safe, and please keep your mind great.
Perfect.
And
We've got
yeah.
5 second Instagram is saying, stay home, stay safe. That's Melvin Mihir saying, bye bye.